How's it going, everybody? If you're like me, you've been following this case ever since the information first started coming out. And I just saw that the family of Karmelo Anthony just did a press conference, seeing the person that is actually doing the speaking on behalf of the family and the organization that he is representing. Looking more into that, it just, I don't know why they did this. This is a horrible look for the family to have this particular individual with the organization that he is backing speaking on their behalf or even being associated with them. But I'll go over all that information as we go through the actual video conference. So let's just go straight into it.
I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America.
All right, let's hear it.
What we seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are...
Okay, so I do have a little bit of a cliff notes because this is not something that came out just today. There's been a lot of people that have been reacting to this and giving their own thoughts and just kind of making specific points on what has been discussed. I've only maybe watched a little bit of it, maybe first few minutes, but I do have a couple of tabs to be able to go over some things, to be able to add additional context from what is being said, or just to add context elsewhere to maybe be able to compare some of the points that are being made. So he is talking about the father of Austin Metcalf being present at the actual conference here.
My words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son.
Yeah, you don't have any legs to stand on to talk about disrespect. And again, I'll go over this individual and you'll understand why, because this is absurd coming from him. But just to show, this is actually this is the father being escorted out. This is why the press conference is actually running late. So apparently Austin's dad wanted to come by to be able to hear from Karmelo's mother. You can see there he is being talked to by police. Leaving peacefully. He's not stabbing anybody on his way out. Okay. And so, for additional context,
that brings us to the press conference. Jeff Metcalf was seen wearing sunglasses and talking on his phone at times while waiting for the family of Karmelo Anthony to speak. Dallas police showed up and Metcalf was asked to leave. Officers told him that he would be charged with trespassing if he did not leave. He told CBS News Texas he thought it would be an opportunity for the two families to come together in a productive way. Here's Karmelo's mother once the press conference resumed.
You would be charged with trespassing. You were told that you were not supposed to be there. Yet, it's funny because Karmelo was told in the tent that he wasn't supposed to be there, and his response ended up in someone's death. So which one was the right way to go? Because again, it's funny that the family, which I don't agree to any harassment for either side, but the family of Karmelo is saying, especially the person, the individual that's actually speaking on the family, is saying that he is trespassing. He's not allowed to be there. He needs to leave. Isn't that exactly what Austin told Karmelo before he was stabbed? So, all right, but let's get back to the main point.
Next Generation Action Network from the beginning.
Okay, so that's his organization. So I'm actually going to keep tallies because, again, there's a lot coming out about NGAN, Next Generation Action Network. So let's keep tallies of how many times this guy talks about it. Because I am going to be beyond shocked if it's going to be more than 5. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was, though.
Has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it,
What opinion would you have?
Opinion.
What? No. What opinion would you have on the law? Like, life was lost. That's a given. The way that this was handled, because there's speculation, even though there's witnesses, they're not going to name who the witnesses are because they're all minors. So obviously they're not going to put their names out there. But the witnesses stated that it was Karmelo that was the aggressor. So what would you say as far as like having an opinion on if Karmelo was in the wrong place, was told to leave, and by the testimony of the witnesses said, touch me and see what happens? One, that just ruins your self-defense case right off the bat because you're the aggressor. Also, it has to be of equal retaliation or equal parts for what you feel the threat is for you to be able to respond to said threat. You can't just go from 0 to 100 and call it self-defense, especially if it's simply just pushing or someone grabbing to throw you out of the tent. So, but it's just like the fact that he's trying to even say anything about like, no matter how we feel about, dude, Karmelo killed Austin. No matter what you can say around it as far as any kind of justification, loss of life still happened. No matter what. So the idea that you have any kind of opinion on it, it's wrong no matter how you look at it.
We have not attacked. We have not shared
Karmelo did.
the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf.
Okay, so that's another good point because a lot of people are also trying to say that Austin was apparently taking something, whether it be steroids or anything to alter his mind to make him the aggressor. Again, despite the fact that witnesses say otherwise. But it's funny because he's saying we're not going to say anything about that. But when people are, and he's wanting respect put on Austin, and I guarantee he's going to say something this in the same lines of it being towards Karmelo, like don't be speaking misinformation on Karmelo. But when people are speaking misinformation on the fact that Austin apparently had anything in his system and there were false autopsies coming out already, you stay silent about that.
Because we respect the dignity of life.
You don't. You personally don't. And I will prove it later.
And as a minister, I would not attack a grieving family.
You're attacking the dad and you kicked him out of the conference.
Even if I disagree with them.
You're attacking the dad now,
I
though.
stood before this podium for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement. I have asked for that same manner of respect.
But that doesn't take away from what's happening now. Those are isolated cases.
I will not do that. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be.
Karmelo wasn't invited to the tent. He was told to leave. Witnesses said that he claimed or mentioned to Austin, touch me and see what happens. He also brought a knife, a weapon, to a school function, even if it's not on school grounds. What kind of justification can you have, logically, reasonably, and realistically, that any individual within a school environment, a student even, would find it justifiable to bring a weapon to either school or to a school function?
Near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, and Karmelo's actions spoke loud and clear.
Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate yet bigotry, and yet racism.
Okay. I'm one of those where I would rather something like this not have any kind of race, skin color, sex, nothing included in it, because you should be judging them based upon the actions taken from both sides. So I agree on that point, but obviously in the times that we live in, everything is fair play, even if we don't like it. That's just how it goes. So the idea that you don't want it to be having involved race or anything else, that's just going to be thrown out the door, whether we like it or not. That's just how it goes. Especially because now you have you have a black individual and a white individual. And again, it wouldn't matter if it was anybody else, if it was someone that was Mexican, Asian, it doesn't matter. It's the idea that there's two different individuals. If it was white, black, or anything else, nobody would give a shit, to the point that they're giving a shit now. But because there's two different races involved, it's obviously going to become political for both sides. Again, I don't think that's right to do, but that's just unfortunately what is going to happen no matter what. And they're going to try to play to it as far as sympathy for either side because of that. But saying, oh, well, it shouldn't be like, that's a moot point, because no matter what, it's going to happen. It's going to be used in favor of whoever is doing it. That's just unfortunately, how the world works now.
We have conservative operatives that have been posting non-stop about this case. It is outright disrespectful. We haven't been doing it. The Next Generation Action Network has been here.
Two.
Popular and unpopular.
Two.
So regardless of what going on, that was disrespectful. Disrespectful. And I will leave it to y'all to define it.
So let's talk about that for a second, because this has been made a point too.
First of all, the idea of race, I mean, you lived it with Zimmerman in a big way. There's so many people who believe that that's why Zimmerman wound up beating that case. But what do you see here? What are your questions? What will matter?
Oh, no, it's definitely a consideration. It always is, whether it's a sort of obvious what we're doing or the implicit one, because we all carry these implicit biases with us that perceive or impact how we perceive an event. Now, what's really it's going to come down to, and I disagree with the guy who said this is not a self-defense case yesterday, I think he said it. This is definitely a self-defense case, because it always is one until you look at the facts of the case and compare the two.
Because life was lost. It's just, was it justified or not?
Aggressor? Was it an aggressive act for him to go up and say, get away from the tent? Did he do more than that? My understanding was maybe he touched him and put hands on him. Granted, that makes the decedent in this case maybe the initial aggressor. But you really still then have to look at whether or not Karmelo Anthony responded with appropriate force, he used a deadly weapon, and whether or not he was in imminent fear of great bodily injury. That's the standard in Texas and most every state, to determine whether or not his actions, the way he perceived him, the way Karmelo Anthony perceived him when he took out that knife and stabbed him. The good part is if the decedent was the aggressor initially. The bad part for Karmelo, if in fact it's true that he sort of said, touch me and you'll see, because that's that aggression, that's that predisposition towards violence that doesn't have a place in a true self-defense case.
Okay, pretty much what I said. Yeah, so if it does, the end justify the means is what this case is going to come down to, because no matter what, again, life was lost. But was it justifiable? Let's get back.
But of course we want to. Y'all, I'm Minister Dominique Alexander. I serve as the president of the Next Generation Action Network.
Okay, so now that he's made that point clear, let's talk about him and the Next Generation Action Network, because it gets really interesting. So this is him. These are his charges, or things that he has been accused of. So, felony injury to a child, apparently shaking a baby to where he gave the baby brain damage. Forging a check. leading police on a high-speed chase, stealing a car. I mean, you can see him on the screen. And if you want to know more, Sarah Fields on Twitter, she has lots of information and is following this case very closely. So if you want more information, I'll have everything that you'll see in this video. I'll have links down below, so you can just go and, you know, quickly search everything up. So he's not, just by this going and making it very simple, he's not a stand-up dude. And let's look at the company for which he is representing. So, corruption in Karmelo Anthony's defense and advocacy. Karmelo Anthony's newly hired attorney, Kim T. Cole, is general counsel to the Next Generation Action Network Foundation. NGAN is a BLM supporting 501c3 that, based on a full investigation, has brought in 6 figures, yet has filed a total of only 2 IRS reports since its inception in 2014, according to federal law, 501c3s are required to file annual returns of their income and expenses with the Internal Revenue Service. Records show that the organization received a grant from another entity called Good Work Dallas with the same registered address, which can indicate alleged money laundering. This organization seems very credible, right? They have also repeatedly opened new 501c Organization 3 and 4 under slightly different names, and when their status is revoked for lack of financial filing or when pressure is placed on them to file, they start a new entity. This leaves room for money to disappear. This involves multiple federal EINs, state recognition, and missing entities in between the years that each 501c has begun. The fraudulent foundation was founded by Dominique Alexander, Karmelo Anthony's family advocate, the guy who's speaking, and a known felon with a history of fraud, forgery, corruption, probably supposed to be a comma, women battery, and a conviction for child abuse. Dominique is also has a history of provoking violent protesting, arriving at people's private homes to protest, and intimidating jurors. So I'm certain with all of this, he probably has a stake in all this, especially with the idea of involving his organization and having them back this case. And especially if they win, I'm certain that there's going to be money thrown his way for it. Dominique was also responsible for the protests in Dallas that ended with Micah Johnson's gunfire and 5 officers dead. Wow. Karmelo Anthony's newly hired attorney, Kim T. Cole, is also Dominique's attorney. Wow, what a coincidence, right? In a recent press conference, I'm not going to read too much more. Dominique Alexander spoke as Karmelo's advocate, stating that the bond was too high and defended the argument of self-defense, which we already saw is going to be kind of a hard fight for them, especially if the witnesses, as they claimed, he said, you know, touch me, see what happens, if that actually is true. He said that Karmelo's family was dealing with racism and bigotry. He stated this phrase about a dozen times. When asked about the knife carried by Karmelo, he justified Carmelo's right to hold a knife by comparing his case to Zimmerman and Kyle Rittenhouse. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. One, no matter what, you shouldn't be bringing weapons to school or school functions, because something I've seen some people even talk about is because it wasn't on school ground, if that's true, if it's in ties with the school, it is then a school function. It does not matter. For example, let's say prom, right? If you have alcohol at a prom, despite that it's not taking place at the school itself, that is still a school function. You're not allowed to have that within the confines of where prom is taking place. The same thing when it comes to weapons or drugs or anything like that, because it is a school represented function. So the idea that he's saying he has the right to hold a knife, no, you don't, not at school. It specifically states on school websites, you are not allowed to bring weapons onto school grounds. And that also then extends to school functions activities like the track meet. And the fact that he's trying to compare, no, bro, that's not the same thing. That is not the same thing. He then told a blatant falsehood and said that Austin Metcalf's or Metcalf's, excuse me for the mispronunciation, brother said in a media interview that Carmelo Anthony told Austin Metcalf, "Don't put your hands on me." Not only were these words never stated, but the arrest report relays that the exact words were, "Put your hands on me and see what happens." So again, I'll have links to this in the description. So, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit more background, because going on with the rest of this video, knowing his history and the organization that he is backing and is the leader of, or like someone high up in the actual organization, the things that he states hopefully are going to make a little bit more sense in why he is saying it. So let's continue.
Today I come before you with a heavy heart, but determined in spirit, not just as an advocate, but as a black man, as a father.
See, okay, he's even stating the whole political thing, like you saying that. Why does your skin color matter at this point if you're not trying to make it, or you don't want it to be political? You should just say as a man, as a human being. But the fact that you're putting in race at this point would take away any credibility of not wanting it to be political or racially motivated.
As a protector.
And it also plays into the sympathy card too.
Community and children.
You need to stay the hell away from children. You are Bishop Baby Beater.
There are 4 critical points I must address today.
Let's hear it.
I want to make sure that the public and the media and everyone who believes in truth and justice. First, the misinformation about the fund. From the very beginning, there was an intentional disinformation surrounding the fund created in the support of the Anthony family. The Karmelo Anthony Fund, hosted by Give, Send, Go. Let's be clear. The family has not received one dime.
I can actually believe that. Only because, I mean, I've never used like GoFundMe and then this is what Give, Send, Go or something like that. Typically you have a window for which people can donate, and then you have a period of maybe double checking. I don't know the whole process of it, but from what I'm to understand, you have your window to be able to collect funds. It then closes. Then there's a waiting period, and then you're able to get the funds out after. So if that's how the process is, and it, like to my understanding, the fact that this, I don't know what the time period is, but if he's saying that they have not received any of the money, I can actually believe that. So, and I've seen a lot of people saying too, like they just started splurging as soon as money started rolling in.
Any of the media could have verified this, but we saw on Twitter, we saw on Facebook, and so many different things of the false, lavish life of this family.
Yep.
$800,000 home, purchase Escalade, in private security. Okay,
so I've seen some discourse on this, but here's maybe why some people are saying this, because it's not that they're mad that like the people making the criticism toward this. It's the fact that, one, apparently there was a large bail bond service that paid for Carmelo's bail. So part of the money from the Give Some Go was supposed to be able to help with the court case fees and being able to post bail and everything. So being reduced from $1 million to $250,000, and then the money from the donated, Give Send Go from people that were trying to support the Anthony family, the money now not going towards bail, so that's $250,000 that they have now just added into their own ability to spend on court cases or whatever. It just makes it to where it looks like you're splurging money on things that otherwise should not matter outside of this case. Also, too, part of this can be criticism of, because they're expecting to be able to get that donated money, that they have now spent their own money. So for the idea that they're saying, well, people are saying that we've spent all this money. Yes, but there's also the idea that because you're expecting to then get this money, you are now just splurging your own money to be able to buy these things and are going to be paid back or to be paid with the donated money. So for them to say, well, they haven't received one dime and they haven't spent on any of this, it's like, yes, for the donated money, I can see that, but they're still mad that you're going out and just spending with the understanding that you're going to get the money back, so to speak, from the donations. So that's where I can see some criticism, much more valid criticism than just simply, well, they just got donated money and are just splurging it for, you know, their own selfish reasons, aside from paying for all the stuff going on within, you know, the case. So again, there's a lot to it, but that's at least what I'm thinking of as far as real actual criticism is because you're expecting to get however many hundreds of thousands of dollars you got from the donations, that you're just now spending an equivalent amount of your own money. That way you can also say it did not come from the donations.
Let me make this very clear. The Next Generation Action Network has always had its security detail. Many of you that know us in the Dallas and Fort Worth media know that we have our own security detail.
So the video, there's an additional video that came out from the perspective of Karmelo Anthony being escorted, I think, from jail to the car when the reporters are asking, so why did you have a knife? And they're not wanting to answer any questions. A lot of the security detail apparently was family. So the idea that he's saying, well, we have our own security detail, it's family.
One of the individuals that escorted Karmelo Anthony out of jail is here present with us now.
Okay, relevance.
They are a part of the Next Generation Action Network security.
Okay, so I think that's 3. I might have skipped one, but that's at least 3. 3 times.
Security team. The family hasn't hired any private contractors or whatever, or splurged or whatever. But
not with the donated money.
Have the audacity to spend money for their safety and security, that's their prerogative.
With their own money for that reasons, yes, I agree. But if you're spending your own money to try to then get it back through the donations because you know that they're coming, and you're buying things like a new house, a new car, and, you know, luxurious needs outside of what you actually need, luxurious wants, let me rephrase it, luxurious wants outside of the actual needs that are essential, yeah, that's where you can actually make an argument for that.
The family has not withdrawn, and just until recently, just yesterday, they were officially notified by Give, Send, Go that they could start the withdrawal process. But if anybody know about this process, they know that that takes about 2 to 3 days to withdraw from that and actually hit any account.
Okay, see, so that's kind of what I thought.
But this blatant propaganda wasn't just about the fund. It was to discourage the public from giving to the fund. That's what this was about. Because just like TMZ.
Okay, so the only thing that I've been seeing as far as a discouragement from donating to this family is because with the information that has come out so far, obviously there's going to be a trial and we need to wait until the facts come out. And apparently there's an additional video, at least one, taken from a student within the tent when when Austin was killed. So we have to wait until that comes out. But I lost my train of thought. So let's just continue.
Was able to call, Give, Send, Go. Everybody in the media, in these news outlets that I've never heard before, could have did the same thing. When I first called Give, Send, Go, they gave me every information that I needed. Okay? So that's what I'm going to say on regards to that. Let me make this very clear. This family never authorized a single fund on the GoFundMe platform.
Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of people that were falsifying GoFundMe's in the name of the family, and it was causing a lot of trouble.
All of the funds that were raised on the GoFundMe were all fraudulent. Fraud.
You really just knocked the mic over. Oh my god. Got a little too excited there, bud.
All of the funds that was raised on that platform were fraud. Okay?
I heard that too.
The family was the first to report these funds. One of the funds we identified raised up to $11,000. So a post about anything.
Yeah, someone doing that they need to get in trouble for that.
GoFundMe took everything down regarding Karmelo Anthony. That was at the request of the family and their supporters. This family never tried to create an account on GoFundMe. The Next Generation Action Network is very well aware.
Okay, so that's another one. This dude is just... Man, I mean, are you getting paid like, what, $100, $1,000 every time you say it? And just trying to stack up all the money that you can?
Aware of the company's policy regarding raising funds for legal defense. Okay? Since this tragedy unfolded, the Anthony family has been subject to unimaginable amount of hate, racism, threats to their safety.
Who is this dude? That's not a flattering thing to pause on. That's definitely not a flattering photo right there. But who is this dude? 'Cause that's the mom. And if he's the dad, I expect she's apparently supposed to be speaking. I expect him to say something too.
People have sat outside their house, sent objects delivered to their door, publicly harassed, online and in person. This is not just about Karmelo. It's about the family who dared to stand and demand justice in a return and receive ugliness that racism in this country still breeds.
So again, to the point earlier, gaining sympathy, making this racial when it doesn't have to be. But again, that's just how we work in a society today. It's just always going to happen. But demanding justice. Justice would be Karmelo going to jail. Unless Austin had a gang of dudes with him to beat the shit out of Karmelo. Unless Austin had a weapon himself. Or he was just simply going to pretty much just go and just punch Karmelo to death. Like getting to the point where you actually would kill him barehanded. There's no ramification I can at least think of for why you would stab somebody in the heart. It's not even just like a stab in the side or not. You deliberately stab dude in the heart. So where's the justice for him? Where's the justice for Austin? If you're speaking that you want justice, the justice would be Karmelo going to jail at this point, especially with just the very bare minimum information that we have. The more information that comes out, especially if that video that was taken, because there was a video apparently of what actually happened in the tent. If that actually, if that leaks, court of public opinion is going to flame these people. Because again, I don't see, unless Austin was really a terrible kid and was really trying to kill Karmelo, I don't see this going in favor of Karmelo. But again, that's just me. I mean, just dude got stabbed. I don't see justification for that unless Austin, he himself had a weapon too.
But let me say this loud and clear.
This dude is stuttering a lot.
We are not scared. We are not moving. We will not be silent. what I've always said as the president of the Next Generation Action Network.
Yep. Okay, so he absolutely has a vested interest. Being the president of the organization that is backing Karmelo, and especially with all of the money laundering that the company does. Oh, yeah.
We will never ask the oppressor for permission to liberate our people. We will not ask for permission to stand up for the rights of our children.
What about Austin's right to live?
The Next Generation Action Network has stood on both sides of the fence in ensuring that...
That's another one. Bro, you are just... I count 6. I probably missed one.
justice is served.
Then put Karmelo in jail.
To the information that the Next Generation Action Network wanted to share with the public
7.
today. And I will go ahead and pass it over to the mother and once I make this statement, okay?
You should just make the statement. You don't have to...
All right.
You just kind of derailed your own speech a little bit.
There's 2 more final.
You just...
For the last week and a half, the Next Generation Action Network has engaged in communications with Frisco ISD to ensure that Karmelo Anthony's due process is not violated. We know that in the state of Texas, there are things that are discretionary things and decisions by the leadership of Frisco ISD, right? There are clear guidance in the state and education code regarding expulsion of a student. We have asked several times, we didn't just rush, we have had these conversations over the last several days, and we have stated that it is just outright wrong to get involved in this. Karmelo Anthony
Are you
doesn't
serious?
have to walk. He doesn't have to involve in any senior activities. But Karmelo Anthony is a 3.7 GPA student.
I've heard otherwise.
And if he doesn't even go to class for the remainder of the year, he would graduate, okay? We've asked that Frisco do not make a decision in this situation. But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Karmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation.
Okay, let's talk about it. All right. University's decision to suspend student following allegation of essay, because obviously YouTube is sensitive about saying those words, was upheld due to policy and handbook. So I'm bringing this up because this happened in a different state, but this already has gone to trial, and the person that falsely accused was given, I think it was like a year sentence. But on Saturday, October 15, 2016, 2 individuals and a female, all students at Sacred Heart University, attended an off-campus party in Bridgeport, Connecticut. During the party, Bradley and St. Hilaire engaged in essay, or they having fun with Jovino in the bathroom. After leaving the bathroom, Jovino told her friends who were with her at the party that the 2 individuals had essayed her. The next morning, Jovino went to the hospital and reported the essay to the hospital staff. The hospital staff performed an essay examination and contacted the police at the hospital. Jovino gave a statement to the police officer alleging that she was essayed by the 2 individuals. On Monday, the police contacted the university's dean of students about the allegations and told the dean that the students that an investigation was underway. The next day, one of them was suspended from the university on the basis of the allegations of essay, and that had been made to the police department. The suspension barred the individual from participating in any university classes or sponsored events and from playing on the football team. So the reason I bring this up is because of the fact that Bishop Baby Beater is mad that the school wants to expel Karmelo before graduation. So again, like I stated earlier, it does not matter if it happened on campus specifically. This incident is a good example because, one, no life was lost. There were false accusations made upon these particular individuals, so they were given consequences from the school at a school function, again, off campus party, but it's still a representation of the school itself. So for the people that are arguing, well, it didn't happen on campus, so he can bring whatever he wants. No, it is still a school function activity representing the school itself. Even if it's two different schools at a track meet going head to head, it is still school specific. Any school specific activity, you are not allowed to bring weapons. It does not matter what kind. You are not allowed to do that. So the idea that Bozo here is mad that the school wants to actually take action and expel him is you have no legs to stand on. The school has the absolute authority to be able to expel him, because not only was Karmelo bringing weapons to a school function, regardless on or off campus, but life was lost. So even parents, anybody that's watching as a parent, would you feel okay with a school allowing an individual in a similar situation as this, not saying it has to be Karmelo, but any person that has committed an action similar to this, to remain in the school? And if it only took the idea of being told to leave a tent to escalate the situation to loss of life, would you then feel it to be concerning, not concerning? How would you feel about that individual that took it that far, that it caused loss of life, to remain in a school where your kids attended or any other kids attended? The school has every right to suspend him, and the idea that this dude thinks otherwise, he doesn't care about kids. Obviously, he assaulted a 2-year-old to the point of brain damage. So you don't have legs to speak on, sir. And again, I'll link this. It's quite interesting what happened, but it was for the prospect of a potential boyfriend down the line. She didn't want to seem like a hoe. But the whole point is, again, I bring this up. It's a much less charge by comparison to death, murder, but the school had every right to give consequences to the students under the pretense of the allegations being true, in the same way that the school that Karmelo is attending has every right to expel him for the actions that he did on school grounds or within a school function.
That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame.
No, they're trying to
What I have not heard
hold you
the media
accountable,
say,
or hold
as
Karmelo
many
accountable.
Media outlets have asked us what went on. I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you
Are you
couldn't have a track meet in rain
Oh my.
or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all.
Okay. This just got... Dude here was already like room temp IQ. This is now like, this is school speed limit IQ. You really just went as far as to say that it's the school's fault because they didn't cancel it. I used to play soccer as a little kid. We would play in the rain. I've been to track meetings. They have occurred in rain. And also there's times where they will have the kids leave the actual track area and wait out the weather if they suspect that it's not going to be prolonged enough to make a drastic difference in either the practice or the actual track meet. So that potentially, because I don't have the weather stats for that day, but that potentially could be what they were doing, is trying to wait out the weather to see if there would be reason to either continue the meet. But typically when it comes to weather, if it's not going to be drastic enough, there's not typically going to be a reschedule, especially if it's like a big event that takes a long time to prepare. Because I don't know the specifics on that, but just speaking generally, that would make it to where you'd have to wait out the weather if it's not going to be either completely pouring, consistent thunderstorms. If it's just like a lightning strike every like 10 to 15 minutes, that's one thing. But the fact that you're trying to blame now the school for not canceling. So the school is now, from your logic, reasoning, and the realistic outlook that you have apparently on this, the school is what caused the school not canceling the track meet, postponing or whatever, is what caused Karmelo to need to shelter in the opposing team's tent, which I'm certain that the tents were spaced out on different sides of the track meet, but they were not within distance to where if you try to go from one to the other, you're just going to get consistently, like, Zeus is not just going to be striking lightning bolts at you from above. You're not going to be drenched in so much water that you collapse to the weight of it and just drown. You could go to the opposing or your own tent, because you were in the opposing tent, but you could have gone to your own tent. Why did you need to go to the other team's tent? Why did you also bring a weapon to a school function? Why? That's the big question. Why? This is a disaster. They should not have brought this dude in. They should have done more research, or maybe they didn't care, because maybe this is the only person that was willing to take their side in this and speak openly. But this is looking bad for you guys. Really bad. You need to cut his mic and just have him stop talking. The only way that you can potentially recover from this, but we got a long way to go.
All of the media, ask your journalists, your weather journalists,
like the weather people are right
that day and that
100% of the time.
Y'all do that research.
No, you're stupid.
Because as a person who is the administrator of your children, you are responsible for the safety of the children.
Yeah, just like you were the person who's supposed to be in charge of the safety of the 2-year-old of your apparent ex-girlfriend, and you caused brain damage, lied to the doctor saying that it was something very minor when the doctor looked at the child and realized it was not anything other than you abusing the child. He's not getting off the hook with me. Like, that doesn't fly. I will hear out everything he says, though, but I'm not letting him off the hook for any of it, especially if he doesn't deserve it. Like, if there was something he said that was truthful, and I've given him his credit earlier on certain things, but nah, dude, like, you don't have any room to speak when it comes to kids' safety.
And so it seems as if Frisco ISD is trying to push this off.
They're trying to set accountability where it's due
by making this decision that they do not have to make.
They don't have to cancel it.
The Next Generation Action Network, outside of the legal process,
it's 9.
will be going through different avenues regarding to ensure that we fight for the rights of Karmelo Anthony. Okay? So in the next coming days, we will be announcing to the public. We will do direct action outside of Frisco ISD administration office, because this is outright wrong. You are getting involved in a process that even the legal process has asked us to respect. And we're
the school has every right to do that.
Same thing.
The school has the right to suspend Karmelo
in this situation.
It happened on school grounds or a school function.
Even with us going and meeting or having conversations, they have made their mind up.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Sure that the records, that we talk truth to power in regards.
Truth to power.
I wanted to lay this out to ensure, because of the sensitivity of this case, there are so many moving factors that I have to explain so that this family does not have to explain.
You still haven't explained why he felt comfortable bringing a weapon to a school function.
So that you guys can go to the Frisco Police Department. The reason why the family or me or anybody with direct knowledge of this cannot talk about the particulars of what happened in that tent. I know you know this is all law. It's because if anybody tell you there was an adult near or inside or whatever, this current investigation knows nothing about that.
Okay, so again, like I said earlier, if he makes a point, I will say it that he did, that he was right. So I've seen a video, or it was more so like a voice recording, but in video, someone was just talking about it, where an adult said that they were there watching their kid, and they had like a good view of what happened. So there's a lot of people that have come out to say that was not true, and with the idea that the people that were there that would be witnesses within the tent were minors, they would not be able to release the name because they are minors. So yes, that's a point to make. That's why, again, that for people that are trying to dig and to figure out who was there, news is not gonna say that, even though yes, they have spoken about Karmelo and Austin because with the fact that they're minors, but for witnesses, people outside of the actual act itself, they're not going to release that. That's just typically what happens.
Everybody,
and I think it's all states too,
at this point of our knowledge, are minors. In the state of Texas, you know we cannot release or talk about minors. So stop asking us the question. Stop. It's no. We can't even do it if we wanted to. Okay? We can't talk about it. So don't ask. There is a court of law that will express everything, will lay out everything. We can't talk about it if we wanted to. Okay? So make it clear. Go back, confirm with Frisco Police Department. Go back, confirm with the district attorney. Even in the bond hearing, you didn't see a single thing.
He looks like he's trying to stall a little bit.
People that was indirect, they're minors. Okay? So stop. The social media, stop. I haven't saw not one person single-handedly get this right in the public. They're minors, y'all. Just stop. We can't. Don't send another inquiry to NGAN inbox. Do this, all of that. That's the reason why we felt like it was important to do this press conference today. We can't talk about it. So if you ask me, I'm just going to look at you.
You didn't need to do a press conference to say that. You could just post it.
I'm not creating it. We can't talk about it.
You're making a big deal if that's the main reason why.
I can't talk about it.
If that's the main reason why, you're making a bigger deal out of it than it's supposed to be.
You release one of those 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds and 17-year-olds name, the law of this land tells you what was going to happen to you. Okay? So don't ask that question. Finally, in regards to this judge, I do not know Judge Angela Tucker.
Apparently she's a Republican judge, and people are saying that she's like a Democrat in Republican wool. I don't know. I'm not informed enough to make a criticism towards that.
Never been nowhere near her court. Don't know anything about her until we were notified that she was going to hear the writ.
So criticism that people are making towards the judge also is because of the fact that she lowered his bond because of reasons. I'm certain you can figure out what that is. But also, too, I've looked into this a little bit. For a person that has a clean record, typically the lowering of a bond is not something that's uncommon. However, for a case like this, it does pose a question of why a lowered bond, especially one as low as it was, because he is a public risk. He did something in public. It caused a loss of life. But again, it's looking into it. It's not uncommon that something like this would be done if the person that is being accused would have a clean record, though you can discuss in the comments if you agree with it or not. But again, it's as far as like the judge is concerned, I haven't really looked too much into it. I've had my own fair share when I just first initially heard everything and just was like, no, he doesn't need a lower bond. I still think he should not be going to school. The fact that he's even at home right now is baffling to me, but that's just my opinion. But, you know, leave your thoughts on this in the comments if you guys want.
But the ugly attacks on her just shows Black America that no matter what you pick in the ballot box, and that is your constitutional right.
See, you don't need to make it political.
People out here reminding
you don't need to make it even racial.
Black struggle in America. This woman is a registered Republican. Has been for years. She put herself through school. She raised her family. She did everything. I'm a registered Democrat. Proud.
Wow, surprise.
I'm the chair of the Dallas County Democrat Resolutions Committee. I don't know that woman. And to call her leftist is just downright disrespectful.
See, that's
the bond that was given is according to law and consistency with practice. If Aaron Dean can get a $300,000 bond when he killed a Tatiana Jefferson, Karmelo Anthony can get a $250,000. If Amber
I'm not familiar with that case.
Get a $200,000 bond when she kills Botham Judge in his own home, he can get a $250,000. If Roy Oliver can get a $250,000 bond after he kills Jordan Edwards, all white officers, why couldn't Karmelo Anthony be entitled? A child with no background, no criminal background, no endangerment to the community, none whatsoever.
No, okay, so that's where you got me lost. One, you're doing the whole if everyone would jump up a bridge, would you do it too kind of thing, where it's just like, well, if they have it, why can't it? It's like you can still say none of those people, if they actually killed somebody, should be out on bond as well. Which, I mean, if you killed somebody, you should not be in public. Like I said just a little bit ago, though, he said, oh, he's not a risk to the public. Well, yes, he is. He got triggered enough to kill somebody because he was told to leave an area that he was not allowed to be in. That's apparently what it took to escalate the situation further. And from the witnesses, Karmelo was the aggressor. Again, it just doesn't make any sense. Why can't you go to your own tent? There's a separation so that way you're with your own side. We have separations elsewhere. There's a separation of bathrooms for men and women, though there's an entire debate on that. There's separations of, when it comes to like work, you have separations of, because I used to work in a warehouse, you have separations of different areas of the warehouse. You just can't go to the administration office and start sitting down wherever you want if you don't belong there. That's not where you belong. The same thing when it comes to the White House. You can't just walk in. You shouldn't be able to, because everyone's bringing up January 6th stuff, but you should not be able to just simply take a seat in the president's chair in the Oval Office and then just start saying, well, I belong here. So there's reasons that there's separation. There's women's sports and men's sport, which, again, that's a whole other conversation. But the idea is there is a separation for a reason. Huge separation for a reason. You have schools, you can be friends with people from other schools. I don't see any problem with that. I had tons of friends when I was in school that went to other schools. But the thing is, if you're at a meet, if you're doing a sport, it's the same thing when it comes to basketball. You don't just see LeBron James going and sitting on the opposing team's bench, chatting it up with the coach or any of the other players. No, he sits on his bench. You have in baseball, they hang out in their own dugout. They stay in their area for a reason. And if you go to you can't be mad at people reacting. All you can do is control what you bring to the situation. You can't say or have any kind of sway over how anybody else should react. If you go to the opposing team's side and they don't like it, you can't be mad that they don't like it. All you can do is control your own actions. Dude is so...
a ELM and brought home. Please help me understand. Make this make sense.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying, but you are just lost. You have been lost. And you're not doing them any favors.
It's consistency. It's consistent with practice. After this, y'all, so that we'll know, this will be our final press conference.
I hope so, because you're doing a terrible job.
We will not speak to the media again after this, okay?
For the family's sake, you're not making it better, so yeah.
Question or whatever it is. The actions that the Next Generation Action Network take on Frisco ISD will be as separate from the legal process.
10.
Because we want to make sure that Karmelo Anthony's due process, this is going to be a jury case. And then let me make this very clear. This is a case that has not even been indicted. So, under the guise of Texas law, it's not even really proceeding to a trial yet because it has not even went through a grand jury to be indicted. We don't know if a grand jury will indict or not. We don't know.
I think you just need to have probable cause and it goes to trial. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the legal system like that, but for something like this, I think you just need to have probable cause and enough evidence that it just gets taken to trial. You don't need a grand jury. But if you know the law more than me, obviously, please correct me in the comment section. But dude, you're not doing them any. Just this is great content, but this is terrible for them.
No, that's in the district attorney's hands. Okay, and their legal team is preparing a packet for those things, and we will not be talking about the legal process regarding this case, okay?
You shouldn't be.
So after today,
because you don't know what you're talking about.
I just want the media to know, and I want the public to know. I don't care what you say about me. I've been in this thing for 11 years.
Wow.
I am tried, tested, and proven.
Yeah, proven to be a baby beater. Proven to be... I mean, come on, bro. Like, look at all this. Look at all this. Yeah, you're proven all right. You're very, very much proven.
I'm going to just say, I'm from Oak Cliff. Worser things have been said about me, baby. You ain't got to inbox me. You ain't got to tell me. I am the first person to tell my testimony. I don't have to prove anything to nobody.
Yeah, because you've already been convicted.
I am a proven testimony standing here that God, even when you make mistakes, God is not finished with your story.
See, something like that can be inspirational, but it's just, this is the same lines of saying, like, of how Casey Anthony is trying to come back and teach people about the law because she's been through it. And it's like, we don't need to learn from you. You're not the chosen one for this. You're the wrong person to be speaking on anything. Just stop trying to reinvent yourself. You're done. You're done. And you, sir, are done too. Your organization is done. Just stop talking.
I'm going to bring this mother, Kayla Hayes, and it has taken her a lot of strength, y'all, to come and do this today. And I want you guys to respect her as she read this and giving her the respect that she deserves, y'all.
You are stuttering and you are lost in thought, bro. Wow, that cameraman is just, bro.
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Karmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have.
Yeah, and your kid is keeping, or did keep, Austin from having the future that he would have.
My husband works hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way.
How do I sense a little bit of a failure on that if Karmelo felt it was okay to bring a weapon to a school function where other kids are going to be around?
In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming.
See, that's something too, like, look, emotions run high. I understand that. I agree on the idea of, like, leave the other kids out of it because they're absolutely not a part of it. You can be critical of the parents because, especially the fact that he's a minor, they're the ones that are looked at for all of his actions because he's not an adult. He's not able to make his own decisions according to the law unless he's tried as an adult. So his actions speak for how they are with him as far as raising him and teaching him the things he needs to know. So they are the ones to look at for all this.
The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff.
Wait, so this actually just came out today, as of me recording this. Apparently, Austin's dad was swatted. So it's not just affecting them.
Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms.
See, I don't agree with that. That's you're going too far. As much as this is making people's emotions run high, and it's very understandable for why, going to that level, they should be facing consequences too. That's not right.
My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats.
Yeah, that's nothing to joke about, enduring death threats. But I mean, imagine dying.
My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her.
Yeah, I don't see that as shocking. I mean, she doesn't have Cuckoo in the closet. She has Dexter Morgan a couple doors down. So, you know, if late at night she gets up to go to the bathroom and he's in there and she's really got to go, knock on the door just saying, come on, I got to really go. You know, she might just... I'd be scared too.
Let me be clear. The claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime.
So again, I can understand that they maybe didn't get anything, but the idea that just because you're not spending it, you're not spending the donation money in particular on the things that people are claiming that you now have, which is a home that you're not buying, but maybe renting because you might get sued over all this. the car that you guys allegedly got, you know, just all the stuff. Like, you don't, people can be critical justifiably by saying, like, why are you buying all this? Oh, it's because you're expecting to get that money, so you're just spending it up front with your own money and then getting it back with the donations. If that's what people are criticizing, that's a fair criticism, if that's actually what's happening. But for them to say that they didn't get any donations yet, I don't know how long Pay, Send, Go, whatever it's called, has their campaigns open, and then you get, like, I can understand if they didn't get it, but there is room to say for criticism that they're spending money up front to then get it in the back end with donations, if that's what's actually happening.
From the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made.
Okay.
I don't know why we're being targeted. And
You don't know why you're being targeted? I don't know. It could be because your son killed somebody and the situation went from leave the tent to death. And also, too, this might have been what I forgot earlier, but there were kids that, especially like a student that she came out to say, I didn't know Karmelo really well over the last 5 months, but he was known for fighting other kids. So the idea that he potentially was the aggressor, with the other claims made in the police report of those within the tent saying Karmelo told Austin, touch me and, you know, see what happens. There could be some justification or validation to that. But the fact that she's saying, I don't know why we're being targeted, stop. For other people, the kids being targeted and your husband and all that, like, that's, you could be targeted and being criticized for being his parents, and you guys are responsible for his actions. I can definitely see the criticism in that. But the idea, like the doxing and all that, like, no, that's, I agree, that's stupid. But the idea of why are we being targeted? No, there's definitely a reason.
discriminated against before.
Discriminated against. This is, no.
Fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights
Yeah, so did Austin.
under the law that everyone is afforded to.
Yeah, so did Austin.
He's been raised in a two-parent home with structure,
Oh my God, no, please. Oh, please tell me she's got more.
stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do.
Oh my God. Structure, love, God. Okay, if that's true, if all that's true, why then would Karmelo have any reason to bring a weapon to school or a school function? And you as parents, how can you, so far, like, you did not say anything, you have not made any comment from what I could find about condemning your own kid for bringing a knife to school or a school function. I keep having to say that because there will be people that say, well, it wasn't at the school. It does not matter. It's within a school function. On or off campus does not matter. You as parents, you're not speaking on that. You're not even, because obviously you don't want to incriminate your own kid to a fault. I can understand that, but there's lines. Life was lost. And if God is first in your family, and he's the one that reigns over the household, right? He's the one that you all, you know, you live by his means. Why did this happen then? Why? Structure. Violence is not the answer. You as parents should be teaching that. With love. He, from the claims made by the student that said that she saw him fighting quite a bit, and then the kids within the tent saying that Karmelo was an aggressor. I mean, teens rebel. I get that. And being in a household, there's knives in the kitchen. So the idea that like kids would be around a knife is not out of the question, but the idea of bringing it from home elsewhere to cause harm. It was, again, not just a stab in the arm, stab in the leg, it was a stab in the chest and the heart. I'm sorry, I'm not buying this. Where's the dad? I don't think he's the, I don't, the fact that, I hope he speaks.
We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws of this state. But those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us.
It is applying, and you're just not liking the consequences of those laws.
To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day.
You haven't spoke about it at all, from what I know. This is your first and only real like public speaking upon the event that happened in the tent, the stabbing from your son to Austin. I tried looking for other things. I could not find much of it, if any at all, other than just you're glad that he's home in posts.
An active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss.
The wording, to the family that experienced the loss. No, to the family for which my son took the life of another family's kid. You are not doing yourself any favors to the family that experienced loss. No. To the family whose kid is dead because of my kid.
My heart truly goes out to you.
Well, it sure as hell didn't go out to the dad, because you kicked his ass out. You kicked him out of the conference. Because, I mean, he was standing there, peaceful, silent, just waiting to hear you speak. And you kicked him out because he wasn't allowed to be there. Yet Karmelo wasn't allowed to be in the tent. And yet you're not saying anything about that. Karmelo was not allowed to be there, and it caused him to stab somebody. That was his response. The dad walked away peacefully, shook the officer's hand, and went about his way. Why couldn't Karmelo do that? Why couldn't he just walk away? You're the one saying that he has so much structure and love and support, and he's a God-fearing man. Yet he could not walk away. Why? Why was he in the opposing tent? Why was he in the opposing school's tent?
To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
The fact that it's just like, this whole thing just seems like they're trying to make themselves and their family out to be the victim when it's not their kid that was lost in this. It was another kid. And it just seems so disingenuous. It really does.
Y'all, I'm gonna show something up of a post. You come for me, I come for you. Sarah Fields.
Oh, hey. There you go. Yep, the one that's talking about all this. Oh, here you go. Here's his mugshot.
Never heard of this woman.
They've already moved on to a massive blah, 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 that they're renting from.
This is the
I can't read
kind
anything.
of despicable things that led to the father being here.
Okay, but is she wrong though?
operatives.
You're using race to garner sympathy. It's in the same vein that I don't care what your political aligning is for this point, but just understand this. When Barack Obama in the last election went to speak to black men and shamed them for not voting for a black woman, which is what it came down to. You can dress it up however you want. That's literally the basis. You are black men. You need to vote for a black woman to take charge. You need to be able to support her and vote for her because you are using race. You are using race. You've been doing that this entire time. The entire conference, this entire time, you've been saying, as a black man, we as black society, you have been using race. And I would be the same way if it was a white person using, well, it's because I'm white. I don't care about that. It does not matter as far as what race is doing it. It's the act itself. You are making it political. You are making it racial by continuously bringing it up. Why don't you take the advice of MLK, where it's don't judge me by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character? What about even Morgan Freeman saying, if you want to end racism, stop talking about it. Stop bringing up race. But you are doing that the entire time.
Motivating this family with hate.
Well, Karmelo was motivated by hate prior to the incident. I don't know why. Her and the daddy's fault.
Anthony posted on something
Why don't you zoom in, cameraman? Come on.
that shows, posted here. These are the type of lies.
Dude, you're waving it around. Nobody can see what you're
threatening this family.
We can't see that. You're waving it around too much. Just keep it still. So
Posting the family's picture. These are the type of lies.
Oh, I wish I could see that. I wish I could see what the context of that was.
Getting millions of views on this. Sarah. She's even came after me.
Yep. And justifiably so.
She's even said all of those things. And now that the public knows exactly what is going on.
No, because we need that as much as it would be the biggest disaster to release the video, because I have to say allegedly, but apparently there is a video from inside the tent. If that was released, then we would actually know what was going on. But they're going to obviously keep that till trial. So, oops. Here you go.
I ask, because these racist bigots try to prevent us from standing up for our baby, our boy.
Oh, don't talk about baby. Don't talk about baby. Don't talk about baby. Why does Karmelo need standing up for? With, again, obviously this could be completely different, but again, just with what has been made public thus far, it's Austin that needs to be stood up for. Because even his dad is being very lenient and respectful towards his family. Apparently already forgave Karmelo for what happened. The dad's just trying to kind of get understanding from the family and maybe have a little bit more closure from what happened. But I'm baffled by what Karmelo needs you guys to help stand up for in regards to his situation. Why does he need you to stand up for him when he also admitted to the cops when they finally caught him? Because the story is he stabbed him, he ran out, and he dropped the knife. But he told the police officers it wasn't alleged, I actually did it. What does he need you to stand up for in regards to him? Unless it was self-defense. But again, if he was the aggressor from what the witnesses said, that's not a self-defense case. He caused it. And the action that he took does not justify what actually happened from what was told in regards to Austin's side of it. He did not do anything other than say, hey, leave the tent. And maybe even if you put hands on him, That still doesn't justify killing him.
He should be afforded the same rights that Kyle Rittenhouse had. Daniel Penna.
Okay, no. So the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, bro, you can't compare. Those aren't the same cases. Those are not even remotely close as far as like Kyle Rittenhouse. One, even if you try to do the whole weapons thing,
and all of the people who have claimed whatever their defense was, he should be afforded the same right. Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad I let that go a little bit. So Kyle Rittenhouse, he's trying to talk about the weapon. One, that wasn't on school grounds. For one, which is the whole point of why was there a need to bring a knife to a school function. It's not even the same. It's not even in the same realm as Kyle Rittenhouse. It's not. Shooting him in the back, bro, come on. My God. And Daniel Penny, because it's not Penna, it's Penny. Let's just... The man on the subway station that was being threatening to other people and Penny was trying to subdue him. That's not even the same. That's not even the same realm. That's not the same. Karmelo was not trying to contain, or he's not trying to hold him there or keep him from hurting other people. Karmelo had a knife and used it with malicious intentions that caused loss of life. It's not the same thing. And the idea that too, the guy on the subway, I forget what the individual that died, I forget his name, but apparently that was not his first rodeo. It happened numerous times, and the dad was not present trying to help get his son any kind of help. But as soon as his kid dies, now he wants to be Father of the Year, kind of an image that he's putting out there. Oh, I want to get my son help. I care about my son. It's like, dude, where the hell were you the other 10, 20, 30 times? So, because if it once is just isolated incident, twice is a pattern. What is it? Once is a isolated incidents, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern, something like that. That's the saying. But no, dude, it's just they're not. None of them are anywhere near remotely close to one another as far as like any kind of relevance.
We got that, and he raised more than $2 million publicly, and nobody says anything. So since they tried to come for us, I call for the community's overwhelming support for this fund.
Yeah, because you have a stake in it.
The disinformation that was put out was literally deliberate to prevent you from helping this family.
Because you have a stake in it. Your crazy company that you're trying to push. I'm shocked you haven't said it in a while, unless I just completely have zoned it out at this point. But you have a financial stake in what's going on. You are trying to come up on this. You are not a good person. You can do the whole mask on, God is not done with you yet, like you said earlier, but that doesn't therefore change who you are. You can obviously say one thing and act on what you said completely different.
And I want you to give overwhelming support to show them the community united can never be divided. And I'm going to say this again, and this is for everybody. Black people in America.
Okay. Exactly what I was saying earlier. You're making it racial. You're talking about, oh, people are making it political and all. It's like, dude, you are... This, as much as it will forever be It's you're making it racial. You're keeping it racial. And you don't have to. It's like hypocrite, dude.
While the current occupant sits at 1600 Pennsylvania. Black.
Oh my God. Wow. What does Trump have to do with this? Did Trump put the knife in Karmelo's bag? Did he somehow brainwash Karmelo to go do this? Yeah, try not to make it political, but yet you're doing the exact thing you say not to do. Oh my God.
Black people in America don't have to pull the race card.
But you are.
It's what we live as a reality every day. It's what we have to teach our children. We don't want to, but we have to. We don't like to, but if we want to sleep at night, we got to. I ain't pulling no race card. I live it.
I'm not pulling a race card. No, you've been pulling it, dude. You've been wait, I got it. Wait. Camera, there you go. It's hard to see because here, let me do this. There you go. I bought these cards a long time ago because they're kind of funny. So this one, it's not an actual card itself. It just came with it, but I got a... Oh, here we go. These are kind of joke cards. Just because I saw them there, they just looked funny to me. So I got them. But, bro, you are legitimately pulling this entire time the race card. That's what you've been doing. You don't need to make it racial, because this is why how do I word this right? Because I'm trying not to get like, I'm trying to stay in a good mindset, bro. Actions like what happened are not even, it doesn't matter what actions. There's no actions. There's literally no actions at all that are specific to any race, to any sex, to any just unchangeable characteristic. There is nothing. Math, good eating, running fast, there is not any kind of trait. Good, bad, in between does not matter. There is no trait that is specific to any one race, to any one sex, to any immutable characteristic, to any unchangeable characteristic. So the idea that bringing race into this, you're doing it to garner sympathy. But the whole thing is, like, people are making it racial because there is a black individual and a white individual. So it's going to be brought up no matter how much you like it or don't like it. But the whole thing is, dude, you do not have to make it racial. You could literally just say person A and person B, and then just let people make the judgment upon the actual actions that took place, not giving them any kind of a lead either way to sway because of who they are by unchangeable characteristics, race, sex, anything. You are using what otherwise would be a discriminatory characteristic when applying for a job and using that to garner sympathy. You are pulling the race card. And that's probably why people are very critical of you right now, among other things. But let's just keep it at that. People in general are tired of it. And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be white people too. Because people are really tired of Karens. And who are Karens? White women, generally speaking. So people will put on, they won't typically say any other race is a Karen. Even though the idea of bitching and wanting to speak to the manager type of attitude is not specific to just white women. But who do people put the Karen title on? White women. So if you don't want things to be political, you don't like the idea that Sarah Fields you saying that she's trying to make it political and racial. You're doing the same thing. You're just wanting it to be in your favor, and you're not liking it when it's not in your favor. You can't choose that. You can't just nitpick. That's called entitlement. And you're wanting things to be fair. You're a hypocrite. Stop.
I'm reminded all the time that I'm a black man in America.
Oh my God, you are? I didn't see that before. Now I see it perfectly clear.
And what y'all just showed to Judge Tucker is just reminded that hate and bigotry and racial reconciliation in this country, we have respected the process. I believe that Austin Metcalf is about to have his funeral. And I wouldn't dare, even with the information I know.
Please release it. Release it. No, what do you know? And again, if it's justified, then that's one thing. But the idea that you're trying to paint him as this big bad wolf that needed to be put in his place, and you're trying to in any way justify his death. The things that I know about him. No, dude, just stop. This is
And plenty of people
this is devastating for the family.
Share that and all that. But we have prevented from speaking about that in these type of public forums. It will come out. They have a more than well capable attorney, and this family will go through a process of being able to get prepared for this trial. So I just say this real quick. This is our final time.
Good.
Speaking to public and holding a press conference regarding this particular case. Now, the Next Generation Action Network will
Wow, you went
about
a long time without saying that.
Frisco ISD.
The fact that you're trying to in any way talk to the school about not expelling him is still wild to me. And this is a train wreck. There's nothing good that came out of this. There is nothing good.
We will not do this. I will not ask this mother to do this again. The attorney will not. We won't.
Is he the attorney?
Don't ask. We will see you at
Wow.
whatever venue that is.
He's the
We will
attorney?
see you there. I stand 10 toes down supporting this family. And I want to thank all of the community leaders and people that I've seen that have came here today. Bishops and pastors and clergy, community leaders with respectability in this community.
Respectability?
I see them today. And I want to thank them for their presence because this family needs strength right now. Thank you and God bless you.
So that was a disaster. That was terrible. You did nothing but just like if I'm to even try to like play devil's advocate, you just put them not one step forward, but like 20 steps back. That was awful. And again, it's your background, your company's background that just makes it to where it's so questionable why you're involved, other than you have a financial stake in the outcome of this case going favorably for Karmelo. I don't understand how this was supposed to be a good thing. How was this supposed to be productive? You're making it to where you are trying to play the victim. That's not what this is about. Like, it wasn't your kid that died. Granted, your angle is Austin was the aggressor, and you feel that what he did apparently led up to justification for Karmelo taking his life. Being at a school function, I don't see the justification for that at all. Like, I don't, just with the things that have come out. Witnesses saying otherwise. I don't see it. I don't see it personally. But again, it's going to go to trial. So, you know, we'll figure out more. But if that video leaks, the alleged video inside the tent from what happened, because apparently they did collect it. So, but I don't see how, because this is a self-defense case. It happened. Was it justifiable or not? That's the whole point of the case. And I just don't see how this is going to be winnable. This is going to be able to be won, because I don't, in favor of Karmelo Anthony. I just don't. Bro, you did so bad. This was great though. This is watching this defend the actions that were taken place in this situation. It's just like, it almost seems like you can't write this stuff, or you can't make this stuff up. You can't. I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words. This was kind of a long video. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. Again, everything will be linked down in the video description if you guys want to look at it further. Leave your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.